Yo, what it do? I know it's loud as shit. It's 9 a.m. in the Bronx. We are at Hunts Point on the 6th train. This sign right here says, Crane Square, right? But this is Monsignor. I think it's Monsignor de Valle. It's Monsignor de Valle something square. I gotta look it up. I'll put it in the title. But we're at the intersection of Southern Boulevard, East 136th Street, Hunts Point Avenue, Bruckner Boulevard, and I don't know what else to show you. But I just want to show you the architecture, the beautiful brick pavers or masonry pavers. I like how the planters are done. I like how it meshes with the street and the sidewalk. These guys are preaching their ass off right now. If y'all understand Espanol, let me know what they're saying. Let me know what they're saying in the comments. But we're looking at architecture, we're looking at design theory, we're looking at skate spots. These these basically metal planter barriers are very skatable, right? Especially for inline skating. I love these tactile. You know, this is again part of my, like, when I think of skate park designs, I feel like if I could design a beautiful skate park, I would use this type of landscape architecture. I would use stone pavers. I would use tactile strips where I don't want people to skate. I would also use it so that people that are blind, people that, you know, because these tactile strips are for the bus stop, right? But it's also there to protect people that are blind, like with their walking cane. They feel it, they know right away, I'm not supposed to go there. But if you do that in a skate park, what you do is you create a sort of inclusivity, right? So DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. You're basically designing for everybody, so you're not excluding anyone, right? You see how you have benches that people can sit on? Don't skate on benches. There are benches you can skate, there are benches you can't skate, right? This metal barrier right here, what is this? This is like foam work. But I just love that all of this can still be skated, right? It's a beautiful planter. Beautiful trees. They cap these ledges. You know, where there's a will, there's a way. So if we really wanted to skate these, we could. You know what I mean? This is ventilation for the subway. But again, this is also a means to maybe say, hey, this is a section of the skate park that we don't want you to skate. So I think of all of these things when I think of the ultimate skate park design, right? So subway vent, you got large planters, still can be skated, right? But because they're here, it makes it more challenging. So I think of all of these things and all of these concepts. All right, let's take a walk over here. That's the 6th train subway. So this is the Hunts Point 6th train subway. You can see here, someone has already like waxed and tried to skate this little portion, right? But what we neglect, so this entire ledge is knobbed up like this, right? Just so you're aware. But what we neglect is we neglect the inside. The inside can be skated all the way down. Now check this. So you got benches, you got this whole section you can skate. Right? Imagine having this portion waxed, and then imagine going that way, right? Imagine, you can't really see it because the shrubbery is covering it. But all this can be moved back, and there's no thorns, there's no bushes here. But if you want to design a skate spot, let's say one of the key things in landscape architecture that they've been doing for millennia is they put rose bushes and thorn bushes where they don't want people to climb, stand. You know, you put it as a deterrent, right? The other cool feature right here, and that's a skate, to me, is a skate obstacle, right? Is this is now a gap, it's now a challenge, right? And even if you wanted to make it even more difficult, gap over the benches, right? Over this entire section. I'm thinking Chris Farmer, Demetrius George, and whoever else is brave enough. Maybe even Chino Sin. But look at this, you know, this is a lot of untapped potential. These are pretty good rails, good size. They are a little bit high. Just from looking at it and feeling it, it feels like it's a little bit higher than your typical 36-inch handrail. At least those two. This looks like it's closer in height, but I think the code is that you can do between 36 and I think maybe 38 inches, right? So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 risers. And then if we come down here, you'll see all of this is also capped. This is capped all the way down, then you've got benches and it's capped over there. Just gonna hop back up here. So yeah, this is the actual name of the facility. So according to this, it's Monsignor Raul or Raul del Valle Square, right? Rules prohibit. Dogs must be monitored. 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. No littering, smoking, alcohol, and fecal matter from your dogs. Right, so, and that's your Hunts Point station. This is a broad view of the open plaza, right? Because this is a big open space that will attract skaters and skateboarders. This is a great place to meet up. Hunts Point, if people don't know, Hunts Point, not just this specific Hunts Point train station, but the neighborhood of Hunts Point in general, which extends in that direction. I think that is southeast, I believe, towards the water and towards Queens. Hunts Point is one of the main distribution centers for all of the food that enters New York City. What that means is that a majority of the food that comes to New York City that feeds Brooklyn, Queens, and Manhattan first arrives in Hunts Point. You can do your research and you'll find out that this is actually true. So now that we continue, we have this very low concrete curb ledge, which has some potential. You also have another challenge here to gap over this way, over the benches, right? You obviously have these two dope handrails. Let's see if this water fountain works. It does. What's missing from some of these newer parks that I'm seeing is the water bottle dispensary and the fountain for the drinking water for the dogs. But you know, you can't have it all, right? So, pretty cool tree planter. I'm just looking at all the challenges because this is a nice open space. Skateboard, BMX, scooter, pogo stick, unicycle, electric unicycle. This is a challenge to gap. I love these challenges. Fucking love them. These are your water main switches, you're sure. But look at this beautiful handrail, 36-inch handrail. Those are all planters. And then you come across here. This is the original Hunts Point Ave train station architecture and construction with a subway vent. And you have this rail, and you have this rail. I think if you check out Ghetto Community, they did a video recently with Chino Sin. Shout out to God's brand, Chino Sin. He did his thing on this rail. I think he did Top Soul, and then he went to transfer. You come across this side, you got that Link NYC, you got the trash cans, you got bike racks. Again, you got more tactile strips, right? This is how skate parks need to be designed. Sections for kids, so kids know, okay, so not just the kids, but the parents know not to go there. And so that these kids that are autistic or neurodivergent or whatever the term is, they start understanding based on colors, patterns, geometry, things like shapes. You know, instead of, think of it as a real world example of how to navigate the world around you. Look at that. You know, you don't want a kid crossing this path on their little scooter and then getting mowed down by, a bike or a scooter going 60 miles an hour. Right, so these are all things that I consider with regards to design. These are bollards. Bollards are designed to prevent trucks and cars from the traffic from coming into this area. So these are also design theory features that you can use and implement in skate parks to prevent, let's say larger obstacles or larger means of transportation. Let's say you want to try to prevent BMX from going into a certain section of the park, yada, yada, yada. These are all things that you can implement. But this is a really good example of how bollards can prevent cars from hitting pedestrians that are just standing in the park, right? This whole open plaza extends all the way out there, right? East 163rd Street. We got East 163rd Street, we got Hoe Avenue, right? We got the bike path, we got the Bruckner, and we got a little shitty sign right here. I think this looks like an afterthought, the way they put this sign here. This sign does not look like it's gonna stand the test of time. But these are my comments for, actually it might, right? I thought it was poorly installed, but, and then you got the parking signs here. This is the Hunts Point entrance, right? You got the rails, you got the old architecture with the new architecture. Bollards around the fire hydrants, and most times when you see these are for the subway below. People don't realize that. Fire department comes to a subway emergency, they connect that and run the hoses directly underground. And then obviously there's this portion here, the bike racks. This portion is really designed for bike traffic. And this rail, though it's still skatable, you can see how this tactile strip kind of creates a new challenge and prevents it from being skated the way we used to skate it. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Peace, love, and blessings. And don't forget this cake rail. Check that out. Health Park. We out.